Episode 70. Welcome to Post 90 Podcast. I'm Justin. I feel like we don't ever do that. I'm Justin. This is Adam. Episode 70. I can't believe.
First win under Cushing.
Yeah.
Lucky
it
him.
Took 70 episodes.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Lucky him because I texted you at halftime when it felt like things might be starting to fall apart in this game when we were already up a man and everything, and I was ready to go to war on this mic if the team found a way to draw this game, or
to lose or draw it.
To lose, it's a 100% Cushing out episode, but
instead we get a Rip Bozo Bruce Arena out video.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a broadcast of just Bruce Arena on the sideline upset,
mad. Yeah, more angry at the referees than his own defenders for just not doing their job properly. For
literally in all three situations, giving up pens that were correctly called, to be honest.
Every single one of them.
Every single one.
And not even to be a homer, it's the karma of all the calls that we haven't got that sadly Revs paid for.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that we can only be awarded 3 points for our getting our ref karma back finally. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the game, even the announcers were saying it was potentially the most purposeful slide through the back of our player in the box to end a goal.
The worst, angriest foul.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, aside from the fact that Andrew Farrell is a walking disaster class whenever he plays NYCFC, GP also was able to put literally every member of the Revs defense on stilts in that one goal. I don't know. I think GP is he's got that special sauce. He's a different kind of player.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to talk a lot of good about NYCFC. I do want to take a minute though to talk a little bit of bad about the Revs because they're just a disaster club.
Yeah,
truly. I mean, my thing is this in terms of hatred and nastiness, it probably is our biggest rivalry on paper, to be honest. But I just don't see, like, in terms of the results and stuff like that, I just don't really see how it could be.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting. Like, we have the Revs number the way that the Red Bulls sort of have had our number historically.
Yeah.
The announcer, for whatever reason, at the beginning of the stream, the playoff game that he brings up was 2 years ago when the Revs beat us in the playoffs.
Not recent.
We're all, aside from the NYCFC community, just going to act like our cup run didn't exist.
I think people want to because they don't want to admit
surely
that we're
if you're
a real
Phillies
team.
fan, you want to.
If you're a OG MLS fan, you almost don't want to believe that an expansion team won before you.
Did Atlanta get this hate when they won?
No, it was all love. I think it's that,
and they had only been around three or 4 years at that point.
What's the dude's name? That I dislike him so much that I just don't. Curtin. What's his first name?
Jim, Phil,
or Phil, something like that.
I think Jim.
It's that same hidden racism that he has. That hidden microaggressive oil claim that people just see with City and they run with it. It's sad to see, but it mostly that's the reason why they don't want to give us credit for that championship.
Yeah, I mean we've like beaten the horse about Jim Curtin for a while, not only for that comment, but you know the way that you mismanage a team in the playoffs to allow them to sort of go out there and party and get COVID and put themselves and really their community at risk.
Their community mostly, which was that was the saddest part of it all was the lack of care for your own community. And
then in the way that Bruce Arena blames the refs instead of his own players, the Philly fans blame us for beating their a B-side team, or at least half a B-side team.
Right.
And that really you need to be looking inward at some point.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, skill aside, when you have hungry wolves fighting for you, that's probably the best, hardest you're going to have players play for you. It doesn't matter what their level was, what their position on the depth chart was.
Yeah.
Those were hungry wolves fighting for their lives and careers.
Yeah.
So to say...
They gave us a game.
Yeah, they gave us a game.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, they were fighting for their lives. It was probably the best lineup that Philly could have put out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they just think... to continue to be fighting that beast is a little bit ridiculous for all of those reasons.
How we allowed Philly and Revs and Red Bulls fans to pull us into the past.
It's not them pulling us in. It's just you need to be reminded and humbled about where you are. Mm-hmm. You are not the upper echelon of MLS clubs like we are. Mm-hmm. Like we have entered that. We're going for legacy. They're going for their first.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
Going into more what we talked about at the start, how the seat under Cushing was definitely getting hot. Cushing's cushion was getting hot.
That's a good one.
What really does this win do? First off, do you think that the club felt that way, or was this just a fan thing? And then two, how much does this win cool down that cushion, basically?
I think regardless, the club was going to see it out.
Yeah.
For the season, just because they're either, behind the scenes doing their own hiring process, I'd assume, or, seeing what Cushing's run is for what it is, coming in mid-season, and all that stuff. I do think from the fans' perspective, absolutely the seat was hot. The seat was burning, because of everything that came with him being appointed manager. It was like we were on a sick run. We lost a legendary manager to us. Mm-hmm. And then we go on a run of just unfortunate, not getting the results that we want.
Yeah.
Kind of run. So yeah, the seat was definitely hot for him. This really doesn't cool it down that much though, in my opinion.
Was the seat hot for you?
For Cushing?
For you
personally?
Yeah.
I'm a realistic human, so I knew that we were going to be seeing Cushing till the end.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way we're going to go through another manager this season. So, just try. I think it was hot, personally. Yeah, it was hot. Like, I wasn't seeing him in a great light. But comments from you, like, seeing the positive changes in the football and the soccer, and the product that we're putting out there, that's what kind of calmed me down, chilled me out.
Yeah, well, I think also it's important to look in the past and see the form that the team's been in before and what we've still been able to accomplish after doing something like that. Nobody is or I guess maybe some people have forgotten some of the downturns that we had throughout the 2021 regular season. Seasons are super long with 36 games. We had two in 2021. One right at the start of the season. It felt like
and before playoffs, right?
Yeah. And then the second one right before the month, maybe even a month and a half before playoffs, where it was in both of those scenarios, it was how can this team
do anything?
Even get into the playoffs, not to mention win a game in the playoffs. And that's sort of, when you lose to the Red Bulls in the Open Cup and you drop points against Cincy and Colorado, Atlanta too, which we should have won, and same with Philly, where we just flat out lost. It's results like that do have you start slipping into the mindset of we don't have the ability to do something.
That's where we were kind of in that mindset of just, this is disappointing. Mm-hmm. This is very disappointing. But yeah, like we brought up, I was going to bring up a chart or something that just showed exactly what you just said, is those slumps that we went into, and the idea that we were banging back then was just, as long as we're in, we're fine. Yeah,
I think somebody that has been a hero for NYCFC, and I'm not sure he's getting the love, because even seeing the Player of the Month voting, it was for Sean, Collins, and Hebert. Where's Tales on these lists? I mean, I think he, even potentially beyond Tati, if not right there with him, has been the best player for NYCFC this year, 100%. He's honestly out of his mind.
Yeah,
compared
in the three.
To what we've seen from him too, last season. He's crazy.
He's in that spot too with Gabby, that they should both be getting way more praise than they do. Mm-hmm. Their performances have been insane. Literally backpacking our team.
Yeah, with Gabby, I feel like he has earned himself a starting role in the team, and that obviously creates the question, who do you replace? And it's Santi.
It has to be Santi, because he's in a bit of a slope right now, and
yeah,
You have to put him in Santi's place, and Santi's going to have to fight to get it back. I know that he has the talent to do it too. That's why, it's not one of those things where, back in the day we're like, nah, get him out of the club.
Yeah.
It's not that at all. Santi has the talent to literally lead the team as the 10 if he wants to be. If Maxi's not there, he's leading the team as a 10.
Yeah, and Maxi seemed to pick up somewhat of a knock in this game. Who knows if there's, what's behind it. We'll obviously figure that out in the coming days. But, maybe it's something like that gives Santi the opportunity. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, what a lot of people say is that Santi obviously really only provides production when he's playing in the middle of the field. Yeah. But how do you validate putting him in over Maxi? You just simply can't do that if Maxi's healthy. Unless
you're limiting Maxi's minutes. Then you give, Santi either the front 45, 65 or the tail, 40.
Yeah, you're not getting all of the production that you could, because both of those players are in the middle of the field 90-minute players.
Right, unless you would literally have to switch up the entire system and maybe go with if we're going poverty times again, Maxi at 6 and Santi at 10 and maybe 2 strikers or something like that.
And did you see the small rumors about Maxi with Velez, however you say it? There was some club apparently reaching out, trying to have conversations with us and him.
Maxi's going to retire here.
About potentially going, but
he's retiring here.
Yeah, that seems to be the thought around the club. I know Rob Abramovitz mentioned when somebody tweeted the rumor about it that he had a conversation with him last week for the Spanish broadcast of the game, and Maxi said he's very happy here, doesn't have any intention of leaving and stuff like that. I think that speaks really to the fact that he will be retiring here.
Yeah, I think he's going to retire here. I think, he revitalized himself here, made a big name for himself, and just all signs point towards him being very, very happy and him loving the club. So I feel like, if he's towards the end of his career, he's not going to go anywhere else unless he wants to retire at his youth club or something.
Do you think that Tati's going to be with us through the end of the season too?
I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so. I think, it's got to be quick though. If somebody wants him, preseason started for the Premier League, for European clubs. So, realistically, if you're going to take a player out of the MLS, you would want him to be in preseason so that you can use him.
I actually just refreshed Twitter, and apparently Tati did an interview after the broadcast for Tudin, and he said there's a lot to figure out, but my future could be decided in the next few days, maybe this week. So that's good.
I knew it had to be soon because it literally preseason now.
Yeah, and obviously when you see somebody like Ronnie leave, it's because those clubs want the players that are going to be in the season a part of preseason on day 1, on day 0.
Yeah, well, especially if they're new, coming from a league like the MLS. That's why Matt Turner's out there conceding goals for Arsenal and things like that.
That's crazy.
I have no idea if he played at all.
This is just like live reactions to this right now, but I don't know. That's a crazy thing to hear from Tati. Obviously, it wouldn't be mind blowing. This is something the idea we've been playing with for months.
That doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything on the table, or there could be something on the table, but that's not him completely ruling out staying. That's just saying he's deciding his future.
Yeah, that's
which
him
means, am I going to stay here and fight for another Golden Boot and fight for another title and hope for like a January transfer? I think he can definitely get a move like that to where like Sands got, where you go join a team in January and do your best to get them wherever they need to be.
And I think it's different than when Ronnie left. We talked about how there wasn't much value if he had stayed and won another trophy or another 2 trophies.
There's for us.
There's obviously value for us, but I think when you're looking at a manager and a player leaving a club, their value rises much more, I think, if they're a player versus a manager in terms of winning that trophy. especially if it's an individual trophy like a Golden Boot. Because, I mean, honestly, what clubs want to see is everybody's been burned by like a one-hit wonder or overpaying for somebody that had one good season, and then you figure out, oh, maybe it was the system, maybe it was the players behind him. So I think when you show that consistency over the course of multiple seasons, like that's where the value starts to really stack up.
Yeah, that's where I think we can get a ton of money from even somebody fighting for relegation who, is out on their striker, and they're like, oh, this dude just went back-to-back Golden Boots.
Yeah, that's right. The clubs will be more desperate in the January window.
The guy that we went with instead of him, this bozo hasn't scored in 3 months. We need somebody fresh to come in here and, do the thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think clubs, like you said, would be more desperate. Or even if they're in a position where they're doing well, but they want to add extra firepower. You
could even be doing well like City was and not have a striker and not believe in what striker you have. Mm-hmm.
Or bring somebody in to see how they might do. When you have like City money, you have funny money. You could bring Tati in, as a bench player, as a sub player, and be like, "Hey, is this guy going to work out for a year?" Or you find out he does, or you find out he doesn't.
FA Cup striker, anything like that. But yeah, I want Tati to finish here. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, I know our best chance at as a repeat is with Tati on the team.
Yeah.
It's necessary. But at the same time, if you think, we were going into the playoffs and stuff like that, kind of figuring out that position as well, we needed him to step up, or we needed somebody else to, so.
Yeah. And I almost feel like we don't need a replacement if he leaves.
No, I think Hebert is going to be fine. I think, the youth that we have, we probably could sign somebody, but not a DP.
Yeah, that's not
really the point.
Like we talked about when we hear Jesse Lingard rumors and Gareth Bale rumors and all this stuff. It's like it's not really. I think you said it. The current culture, the thought process of the club. That's
not where we are. We've evolved past. Call it whatever, MLS 2.0, 1.0, whatever 0.0 we're in. We're definitely at the highest evolution.
Yeah.
Of culture and like I saw a replay and I forgot how long Tati's been with us. It's like Burgett or whatever his name is.
His 50 goals
is assisting Tati, and I'm like, what? Who?
We should go and develop like a list of the name of every player that's assisted Tati's 52 goals at this point.
Yeah, we could do
that list would be so cool to see.
So weird to see
on Twitter. Yeah,
like he's been with us forever, so it's not like we didn't buy a Tati and get him overnight. It was like a process to make a Tati.
Medina came in together.
It'd be cool to like have O'Toole be the next Tati, like slow product.
And how about Hack turning up as a product for NYCFC? I think this is the third or fourth game potentially in a row where he's come in.
Well, yeah, when you face B and C tier teams, you can do things like bring on Justin Hack and get him some minutes.
And this is what we talked about with Cushing. Is one of the cool things about having somebody internal take over in an interim role as opposed to bringing an outsider in is you start to learn like maybe the relationships or the people that Cushing rated personally.
Right. Well, that's all from Hack being probably amazing in training and being like, oh, he really deserves a look.
Because we never saw this with Ronnie. Hack did not come in. It would have been
Ronnie wasn't
Zella
so
Lem.
much into the kids.
All of these Hack subs would have been Zella Lem, 100%. Like no doubt.
Healthy or not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Ronnie's just like
Roach.
Is there anybody not American that we can put into the lineup yet? No. Okay. Jason, go fall over, I guess.
Are we still paying? Nah, let's not go down that. Are we paying Matrita?
I don't think we're paying him, but the rumor on the street is he wants to come back here, and to that I say, we don't want you.
I don't know where.
I don't want Matrita.
Nah, with the stink that he pulled to leave to get a loan and stuff like that, it's just...
And just like when you think about like 2-3 years ago when we have Matrita as a starter every week, and feels like he doesn't have the care to come back on defense. And then you see somebody like Tales, who's 19 years old and is tracking back somebody like Thiago doing the same thing. We don't need or want your skill set. I think that's like an MLS 2.0, and we're at the 3.0 type of guy.
I think we need to get rid of it, but there may not be any buyers, but yeah. I think that
sums it up.
I'm pretty tapped out. Follow us everywhere that you listen to a podcast. If you like interacting with human beings and being a part of a community, come join the NYCFC community on Twitter. Following us is a great way to get into that community. Mm-hmm. It literally the most welcoming, nice community that you can be in.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Philly fan that believes that COVID gate is our problem.
Unless you're in the Twitter broadcast of the MLS game.
Yeah. And you believe that any of the pens were our fault.
Yeah. There was a war going on, and some would call you a general of the troops, or an instigator, or...
I was instigating a little bit. I was having fun. No, see, the problem was I was in a laundromat watching the game on my phone, and what else are you to do other than to bother people?
Yeah.
Follow us everywhere that you get podcasts.
That'll be episode 70.
70, yeah.
Crazy solid number there. Not far from 100.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
At 100, I don't know. We got to do something
special. I don't think that'll happen until like next season, though. But if it's like episode a game.
If we start doing what we want to, the Summer of Madness, I think the number will climb pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's going to be summer for a while.
Yeah, it's July, I was going to say. August is the summer month, I would say. And it's rivalry week. Hey, Jordan Griffith.
We're going to get our stadium.
Are we going to get our stadium announcement?
Or have you been capping this whole time? I
would assume if when that stadium announcement happens, I don't know if anybody heard that because of the car streaming down the street, screaming. But when we get the stadium announcement, you'll probably hear from us within that day. If next morning,
like if we get the notification and we see it, I don't care if there's a game on currently, we'll come and record, and we'll have the game up in front of us
and cover that. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the summer of soccer, summer of NYCFC guests on Post 90.
Yep.
And give us a follow at Post 90 Pod on Twitter, TikTok,
everywhere so you get podcasts,
Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify.
If spits out audio, it spits our podcast out.
Yeah. And here on YouTube, if you're watching the video right now, this is to us the most important and the one that we put the most effort into. So shout out you if you're here watching us say these words.
Currently, yeah. And check out the shorts. The shorts are grabbing eyes. So we'll see you guys next episode.
Peace.